All right.
There you go.
So, just to recap, several weeks have gone by since each of you have boarded the slender vessel Silver Siren in Vespras, the Minotaur capital of Kyprian. The captain, a golden-eyed Minotaur merchant named Neonon, has put in the ports along the way to offload crates of linen, olive oil, and alchemical liquid in carefully secured containers before continuing to your final destination, the port city of Cindass and last remnant of the Moon Kingdom. Beyond the captain and his crew, a number of passengers mill about the ship, playing cards or reading when the waters are calm. Most seem destined for Cindass as well, be it for mercenary work, pursuing the spark of divinity like so many others, or on matters of state. Evenings are spent with both passengers and crew singing, drinking, and dancing until someone inevitably falls overboard to raucous applause and has to be fished out of the water. The lengthy journey is nearing its end with the Silver Siren setting sail out of Capteria. Only a week to cross this leg of the voyage. Each of you has been tasked with transporting a mysterious container roughly 3 feet on its side, covered in strange runes, to Cindass. Kalina's request was brief but firm. The box was not to be opened under any circumstances. Whether the contents had anything to do with the search for the missing agent or other strange happenings in the region was noticeably absent. Suddenly, the ship groans in protest before coming to a halt. The swooshing of soft water rushing into the bow and nearly overwhelmed by a terrible grinding noise that emanates from the lower deck. Mutters and whispers in an alien tongue play across your mind as the sense of something that should not exist approaches. All right. So, each of you find yourselves within the ship. You are currently below deck, and you hear shouting coming from up above. You can see that appear to be puncture holes in the lower deck of the ship. Water is beginning to flood in, and there is now shouts and all manner of screaming, and sounds like people falling into the water up above you. What do you do?
Nell, don't let me go in the water.
I won't. Are we at like deep at the ocean, or are we along the coast?
You are now about a day's journey from the last port that you stopped at.
All right, so no, we're just like deep in, like there's no land in sight.
There's no land in sight.
Okay. So weird. You said you heard a grinding noise. Was that below us or above us?
As you look around, you can see what look like large spikes that seem to be rolling as if some sort of pufferfish, a huge pufferfish with spines extended, is rolling its way up onto the deck. And as it does, it leaves behind small little puncture wounds that are now, a dozen or more are in the side of the ship, and each of them are spraying, and the pressure of it seems to be buckling the hull, as if perhaps more and more of these pressing in might eventually burst the hull and flood the whole inside instead of these small sprays of water that are coming in now.
Gods, Miri, Alistair, always angry. You gotta get up. Gotta get up to the top. You gotta stop this thing, or it's gonna sink the ship right in the middle of the ocean.
And I can't swim.
Yes, it is time for fighting, yes?
Yes.
You come with me. I kill them. We kill them together.
Do we know Nightshade?
You do.
Okay, Ed Nightshade. I didn't know whether we knew or not.
All right. The holes begin to, even as small as they are, the dozens of holes in the lower deck begin to fill, and there's at least an inch of water already down there. And so it looks like most of you are rushing upstairs. Alistair, are you staying behind?
Nope, I'm coming.
Oh, I'm not gonna let him. I'm gonna grab his arm and pull him along with me.
All right. As the water slowly begins to trickle in, you hear continuing sounds of battle. And as you rush up onto the deck, you see a horrifying sight.
I got left behind. Oh, there I am. Okay.
And several of the crew are dead, either bloody on the deck or have been thrown overboard. The captain, who is sitting near the wheel, has been badly injured. Several puncture wounds cover his body. He has one arm that's dangling uselessly. He seems to be using the other one, draping it over the wheel as a support. And because of this, the wheel is slowly beginning to turn as the ship veers off course and rolling up along the sides, kind of up and down using horrid looking spines. And you can definitely tell that the whispering in your mind is coming from these horrid creatures. You see this make its way up onto the deck.
Is it crystalline?
It appears to be.
Was that tearing through the hull as it was coming up?
You can see that its crystalline spikes that surround its body it seems to be using that as a mode of transportation as it rotates and pokes holes in the hull as it uses it to climb up and down over and over again. But as you lock eyes with this creature, it doesn't seem to have any eyes, but it notices you as you focus on it, and it stops and no longer goes back down below deck and begins rolling along the surface, and then begins to float above the surface of the deck and starts hovering.
Do I feel any ley lines within range?
You do not. You are many, many miles from the nearest ley line. And as you do so, the creatures begin humming their horrid wilting sound and moving toward you. This one moves onto the deck, and so does this one. And as you watch, the first one that you see rolling up onto the deck lets out a horrid piercing sound, almost like words, but far too garbled or just too alien for your mind to understand. And it slams a beam of energy into the next one over to it. And as it does so, the creature shimmers, and a third one appears next to it.
Great, they're multiplying.
It's not good.
Whoops. I didn't mean to do that, sorry.
Get him! And I start running at him.
All right. Go ahead and roll initiative.
Nightshade is going to try and figure out if there is a weakness to stop them from multiplying. If she's good.
That is a good idea.
Give me 1 second here.
All right. Everybody roll initiative, and we'll see what you guys do
Not
on
yet.
your turn.
Not yet. I haven't got my roll in. There. Damn it.
All right. There we go. We're missing one person. So, Nightshade, let me add you to the turn order. I may not have had your token selected. There we go. All right, so battle is joined. These creatures, it seems like whenever they begin to sing, for lack of a better term, something magical energy pulses out from them, or some kind of activity takes place. But at all times you hear this distant whispering hum in the back of your mind of whatever this sound that they're all making, and it grows as more of them appear. Miri, you're up first.
Oh boy. Mary's gonna run right up. Bonus action Shillelagh on my club. And Sorry, 1 second. I'm gonna do this manually. $13.
All right, that hits.
Cool. Six damage.
All right, yeah, you crack the creature. Several of the crystalline portions of its body fall away, and you hear an agitated whine coming from its structure.
You go away now. That's all for me.
All right, always angry.
I'll run at them and fly into a rage as I draw my greatsword and swing it at the same one Yuri hit. I should have said reckless, but it's too late.
All right, so you swing away, and that does connect, and the creature seems to splinter a little bit, although it doesn't seem to be quite as effective as you might imagine it should be. And you see it vibrate a little bit as some more damage is down the middle of its structure.
That's it.
All right, this creature hovers in midair and then proceeds to leap up a little bit over the deck. As it does so, it focuses its energies on Miri, and you hear, and it sends maddening whispers your way. Please make a charisma saving throw.
Oof.
All right, so you hear the sound and you manage to shunt part of your mind away, protecting it from the onslaught of these maddening whispers. And luckily, it does not grab hold of you. This creature is going to rush forward towards Always Angry and try to stab him with its crystal edges. Oh, and it seems to roll across your armored hide, but it cannot penetrate. Nightshade.
Nightshade is going to move forward just a little bit and aim a witch bolt at the creature that Always Angry and Miri are fighting. Okay. Okay.
All right. Yeah, your lightning bolt of your witch bolt lances out, slams into the creature, wedges itself into the crack already created, and burns away another portion of it. And the creature begins to almost lose cohesion as its crystalline pieces start to slowly move away from its center. All right. Well, we will skip Strider
Are you
and come
there?
back to that. Yeah,
I don't
we
know
are
what-
here. Are you here?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we're waiting on you.
Okay, here I go. At this one right here.
All right, so it is going to make a dexterity saving throw. And it makes its save as it dances out of the way at the last second.
That's it for me.
All right. Nell, you are up.
All right. I will call out to the captain. Captain, you need to get men down below. You're taking on water. We'll take care of these things. And then I will move here. if I take the dash action, can I just haul myself up? Just like climb up over the railing and get up here without
You-
using the stairs?
You can.
Okay, I'll use the dash action and just haul myself up. Do I have any movement after that? Or is that all?
That would be 10 feet of movement, so whatever you have left after that.
Okay, so I would have 20 movement after that. I will move. This one right here, what has it been doing? Number 1, what has it been doing?
That one shot a beam of energy at its compatriot, and then a new one split off from it, and then it seemed to use some sort of magic to try to harm your party member, but nothing that you could see happened.
All right. Well, I will use the rest of my move to interpose myself between it and, well, whatever else. Like trying to just get right in its face. I don't have an action to do anything to it. Well, actually, I do. If I want to action surge. Yeah, why not? Right off the bat, I'll action surge and take an attack. So I will swing with my great axe. Done. $10.
All right.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
10
Unfortunately, that misses.
Yep. I am done. That's it.
All right. Back up to the top, Miri.
All right. Mary's gonna take another swing with the club, and I get advantage because of them sweet pack tactics.
All right. That does hit.
All right, 3 bludgeonic.
All right. You crack
Big
that
one.
creature, and it is badly injured, bloodied, perhaps, if it had any blood, but it is hanging in there.
I get you next time.
All right. Angry, you are up.
Since I see Nightshade's Witch Bolt on the second one, I'll reckless attack on number 3. Ooh,
Ooh, jeez. All right. Well, you bring the great sword down on this creature, and you cleave quite a few of the crystalline edges off.
that's it. They'll have advantage on me.
All right. Well, this one right here is going to try to get away from Nell, fly over here.
Would I get a opportunity attack?
You would.
I will take it. Oh my god.
All right. It ducks out of the way at the last second and fires another energy beam at its ally and slams into it. And as it does so, another one appears. And that is the end of its turn. All right, so this one is somewhat injured after taking a hit from its ally and from Always Angry. It is going to attack with advantage on Angry. Try to crystalline stab him. And misses again. Cannot quite get him. He's too fast. All right, Alistair.
All right, I am going to try another line discharge at the one, what is that, number 2? That is the most injured.
Yes, it is near death. No, it has your number, and it is ready and waiting for that bolt.
All right, that's all I got. I'm not moving any closer than I already am.
All right, Nightshade.
Another witch bolt for number 2.
Oh, all right. This
Yes.
one, unfortunately, there's so little left to target. It misses.
Nightshade hisses and just glares at the thing. Why won't you die?
It screams in its horrible alien language and tries to stab Miri with its crystalline blades. Actually, it is going to try to reach out with a word of ancient void magic and attack you, Miri. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Midi is good at this.
Ooh, all right. You barely managed to stave off the effects of this horrid magic. And it is Nellie's turn, or Nell's turn.
All right, so she will move here and attack 1. Let's see. Yeah, it's really just a 21.
Ooh, yes, you definitely hit this one.
All right, she hits it with a great axe. Can I tell how effective that was? Whether it has any sort of resistance to that?
Yeah, you brought the blade right down on one of the cracks between its crystalline structure, and it seemed to hit it, and you saw a crack, but not nearly as much as you would have anticipated it doing.
Wonderful. All right. Well. Yeah. That is it for now.
All right, this one is going to try to turn and stab Nell in the back. And misses horribly. Miri.
All right. If I cast Flaming Sphere, will they get an opportunity attack? Am I thinking of a different game?
They will not.
Okay. I'm going to cast Flaming Sphere right here on the corner of 3 and 4.
Please don't burn our boat down.
It's okay. We're surrounded by water.
That's my worry.
All right. Your sphere is now there.
All right. I'm going to bonus action slam it into the one by Nell, number 4 there.
All right. Dex save?
Yep.
Fails.
Failure.
All right. Seems to melt some of its structure. It's not quite as pointy any longer. It's kind of gooping onto the ground.
You take that.
All right. Angry.
I'll reckless attack number 3 again.
All right.
14 for 13.
The creature is badly wounded, but it is still hanging in there.
That's it.
And number 1 is going to dive up and then come hurtling down toward Nell for 3 damage.
17, that would hit me. I am going to... well, for 3 damage, no, I'll just take it.
All right. And this one who's badly injured is going to use its crushing whisper, a crushing curse on Always Angry. So go ahead and give me a wisdom save, Angry.
I'll take 2.
All right. So you take 2 psychic damage and you are deafened for 1 minute.
Okay.
So at this point now, all you hear is the horrible speech of these alien creatures.
Now I know what Alistair was talking about.
All
Yeah,
right.
and I definitely recognize void speech when I hear it, so that changes things.
All right,
So be
Alistair.
friends with them.
I'm going to throw a crushing curse back at him.
All right. Creature seems
Number 2.
unaffected.
What?
Seems unaffected as your spell seems to impact and vibrate like a tuning fork and then just dissipate right off its structure.
Great. They're immune to void magic. That's all I got.
All right, Nightshade.
Nightshade narrows her eyes at the second one, lifts her hand, and sends out another witch bolt. You are going to die.
Oh, jeez. And you see the creature fill with lightning and it goes and shrapnel rings everywhere. Miri and Always Angry, please make dexterity saving throws.
Okay. And it's at normal because I'm deafened.
All right, so Miri and the Grimlet next to you both avoid the damage. Always, even though you're deafened, you also avoid taking any damage. So you duck really quick and hit the deck, and it explodes over your head. The creature is destroyed. All right, Nightshade, anything else?
Nightshade just smiles. And that's
Oh,
it.
All
That's it
right,
for me.
Nell.
All right.
Watch
Now-
out for the orb. It burn you if you're too close.
Okay. Nell will take a quick glance at it and then turn back to one here that she's attacking. And attack with her great axe again. 14.
14. Number 1 takes that damage.
All right. So that's 12. Well. All right. So, yeah, that's it for now.
All right, 4 is going to stay where it's at and attack Nell from behind. And misses it. So you can feel the spines scraping along your armor, but none of them can pierce. Miri.
So that last one, and also number 3, they should take fire damage or make that save at the end of their turns, and technically Nell as well.
And that's a dex save, correct?
Yep.
All right. So here's my dex save. Boom.
Amazing. You are amazing.
All right, well, number 4 fails. How much damage is it?
6. I'll just do one for all of them, I guess. As
All right.
easy as...
As the creature standing next to the orb takes the 6 damage, guess what happens?
It splits into
Explode.
2.
Splits into 2. Another one shows up.
Oh no.
Nell calls out, "Get that thing away from me!"
And they begin clustering around the orb.
This is good. Or catch them all. Why you move? Yeah, I don't want to hurt Nell, but I can't move this thing through people. Let's see. I'm gonna ram the one by Always Angry. What is that? Number 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so dex save for that one.
It chooses to fail it on purpose.
Oh boy.
All right, roll that damage. Oh wait, did you already roll it? You did, right? It's a 6.
Yeah.
yeah, you have to roll
I
it.
don't know if I roll it for each one or what.
All right. So as you, well, yeah, because this is a different. It's you slamming it into it. All right, it takes the damage, and yet again, another one appears.
Ooh, Midi is going to stop this. So that was my bonus action. I'm gonna jump over here and whack that same one that I just rammed with the flame sphere. And sorry, is Shillelagh concentration?
It is not.
Awesome. But I have to do it every round, is that right?
No, it's a minute.
Oh, nice. Cool. I will attack with my Shillelagh club.
All right, and you're hitting this one right here.
Yeah, and actually I have advantage, so let me crit fish a little here.
It's fine. You automatically kill it. So this one explodes, and I need everyone within 5 feet of it to make a dex save. So it'd be Miri and Always Angry. All right. 2 of them make it. 1 of them fails. Taking 8 damage.
All right, I'm going to dismiss my flame sphere before I cause too many more clones. This is not working. And that's me.
All right, Angry.
Step up to here, and I'll recklessly attack number 6.
Oof. All right. Yeah, you cracked that one really well. And it is bloodied badly.
That's all I could do.
All right. At the edge of the ship, this one turns around, lunges back toward Nell. It's going to whisper madly to you. I need you to make a charisma saving throw now.
Okay. Uh-oh.
All right. And you see Nell as she slumps to the deck and goes immediately unconscious.
Oh,
The
no.
creature is going to fly over here to surround Miri. This one already next to Miri is going to try to stab at her and miss. Nightshade.
Nightshade is racking her brain trying to figure out if these creatures have a weakness that will stop them from cloning themselves. Anything arcane or...
Yeah, go ahead and make
She
an
might
Arcana
know.
check.
Okay.
It seems that these creatures are immune to mind magic. In addition, anytime that they are hit with magic that they are not immune to, it seems like they create an entirely new, fully intact version of themselves. So magical damage, unless it kills them outright, seems to be very risky, as their song or whatever they are singing seems to generate energy and absorb the spells that you use on them.
Nightshade looks around. No more magic. No more magic. Only weapons. These things are using our energy against us. They're using magic to clone themselves. Just weapons, everyone. Just weapons. And then she will try and vault off and try and advance as far as she can up the stairs, drawing her dagger.
All right. Alistair.
All right. When I hear Nightshade yelling not to use magic, then I am just going to put protection from the void on myself. And that's it.
All right, Nell, you are currently unconscious.
Is there anything? Do I get a saving throw or anything?
No, this creature has to basically keep singing at you to keep you down, or something else. But at this point, there's nothing you can do.
Which one is doing that? Which one is singing?
This one right here, the number 1.
Okay.
All right, number 4 is going to move, seeing Alistair, and they all begin to focus on you, Alistair, and their combined pressure of their mental focus weighs on you.
Do I get an opportunity attack?
Yes, you do.
Oh.
All right, it slips around your defenses, and another arcane bolt lances out toward you, Alistair, and hits you for 1 force damage. All right, Miri.
I'm going to shield that.
All right.
I'm going to bonus action wild shape into a Deinonychus.
What now?
A Deinonychus? Large cousin of the Velociraptor, kills by gripping its target with its claws and feeding while the creature is still alive. Delicious.
Wow.
So I get 3 attacks, 1 bite and 2 claws. And I'm just gonna beat on 1 till it dies. And then see where we're at. So this is my bite. And 1 claw. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to have disadvantage, but my push to talk is interfering. So that that other one's a crit, so I should roll some more. So 18 all day if the 13 hits.
It definitely does.
All right.
And I'm sorry, which one are you targeting?
Number 1.
All right. So you do 18 damage, you said?
Yes.
All right. Well, that will kill the creature, and it is now no longer holding Nell down with its horrid song.
Does Nell wake up?
Yes, you do.
I'm gonna screech dramatically after slaying this creature. And that's all for me. Well, jump over here. Miri's nearby.
Reckless on sick.
All right.
Another max damage.
Yeah, that's brutal. And the creature is near death. One more thing. Mr. Deinonychus, please make a dexterity saving throw. All right. You and one of these creatures fails. And so you both take 7 damage. 6 piercing and 1 psychic. And several void crystals embed in your flesh. So angry goes, and this creature is dead. All right, number 5. It is going to focus on the giant, nasty dinosaur that's just showed up. It is going to use its crushing curse. So please make a wisdom saving throw. Miri, that is to you.
I'm sorry. womp womp.
All right, so you take 2 psychic damage, and you are also deafened, other than the void speech that you can clearly hear above everything now. All right, so Nightshade, as you are about to go, you see 3 people bursting up, some of them fairly badly injured, some of them not so much, from the mid deck behind Alistair. And they look like they have weapons in hand, and they've been doing some of their own battle with something inside the cabin. And they look around to see what's going on and see all of you doing what you're doing. They say, what's going on out here? We heard noises. There's these creatures, and they look at, oh gods, they're everywhere.
There's more
Nightshade.
below deck.
All right. They start running down below deck. Are you sure you'll be all right?
We'll be fine. Just take care of the ones below deck.
All right.
Nightshade runs over here and right there. Looks at the creature. Hates stabbing things that don't bleed. And stabs it.
All right, that does hit. And unfortunately, it does not bleed, but it does make a horrible croaking noise in your mind. All right, Alistair, they look around bewildered and then seem like they're going to start moving down toward the lower deck.
I'm going to move to right here. No, right here. And try lay discharge again on number, what is that, 6? Yeah, on number 6.
Right, yeah. It does a barrel roll right out of the way.
Over the side.
Exactly.
That's all I got.
All right, now you are prone, but you are now conscious once more.
Yeah, I'll say, what in the hell was that? Grab my axe, stand up, and not sure what this thing is. Now we'll avoid it, move over here, and take a so swing at 6. And like 12 slash.
Ooh, yeah, you crush this thing good, and it is now deceased. Unfortunately, you and Always Angry need to make dex saves now.
Should be a 6.
All right, so Angry, you take 4 total damage. Now you manage to avoid all of it.
How was it broken up damage type wise?
It is 3 piercing, and 1 psychic.
Okay, I'll take 2 damage.
All right. Anything else now?
No.
All right. This creature continues to focus its attention on Alistair. Sends a crushing curse his way.
So I need to make a wisdom save?
Yes, the creature says, "You who do not belong, you may not touch the void."
What language should say that in?
Void speech.
No. So to us, it's like blah 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 blah.
Exactly. It hurts your mind just to hear what they're saying, even though you don't understand it.
All right. I have protection from the void on, so I take 2.
Well, you have advantage, don't you, on this check because of that?
Let me check it. Hang on.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Well, technically, this is not a void spell, but we'll say that it specifically says you use void speech. So you have advantage. So go ahead and roll a wisdom save again. And if you save, you only take 2. Or if you fail, you only take 2. All right. So you take no damage.
All right.
And that's all they can do. Miri.
All right, bite against 4
That hits.
with advantage because pack tactics.
All right.
Claw. Sorry, I'm not doing advantage right. So that's 2. So that's 3. Sorry. 13 altogether.
All right. It is whittling the creature down as you harry it with multiple strikes.
And yeah, that'd be the 16 for 10 more.
All right. That will do it. And that creature is destroyed. All right. So you and Nightshade need to make dexterity saving throws. As yet again, this creature begins pulsing and detonates in its last death throes. Nightshade seems to manage shield herself with dark magic, preventing any damage from being taken. Unfortunately, Dionysus does take 5 damage. All right, always angry. You're up.
There's only one left, and I'll recklessly attack it. 16 for 7.
All right. Yeah, it does seem to hurt the creature, although it's still in pretty good shape.
There's
That's
only
it.
one up here.
All right. So as the creature goes, the 2 of these passengers disappear below deck, and this one turns around, hearing the captain, and double moves back up to him. And the creature goes, it is going to lunge down to here and rush at Alistair. So it will move up into the air. And so Nightshade, always angry. Pretty much all 4 of you up there make an op attack against it. All right, 10 will miss. 18 will hit. 24 will definitely hit.
3.
And that will miss. 20 will hit for 3, yes. All right, it continues moving forward and fires off another Eldritch Bolt at Alistair. And
That will
misses.
miss.
All right, Nightshade.
Is it in the air?
It is. It's about 20 feet above the deck because you guys are 10 feet up. It's gone up another 10 feet above you and over.
Okay. You said that before Nightshade knows that unless she kills it with her witch bolt, it will make another one, right?
It seems like that's what's happened multiple times here, yes.
Or not? Well,
Magic seems to still hurt the creature, although it does cause a new one to be replicated for whatever reason.
Okay, Nightshade is going to take a risk because she's very irritated right now. She just looks at the creature, growls a little bit, and says, "Sorry, everyone, I'm going to just, sorry, everyone."
Oof. All right, that hits. And it takes a massive amount of damage, unfortunately. As you know,
Yes.
it will.
Yes, I know.
Are these
Another
things in
one comes
contact
out.
with the ground, or are they off the ground?
They are 20 feet above you, Alistair.
Okay.
Well, 15 feet because you're on the ramp.
Theory proven, guys. Theory proven.
All right. Nell, you have now borne witness to this theory, and unfortunately, there are now two of them.
Yeah. So they are both 20 feet off the deck over there, which I assume means they're 10 feet above us.
Correct.
I mean, is this 10 feet above the deck? Okay. Well, now. I will simply drop my great axe and pull out my bow and take a shot at this one right here, number 5. 18?
18 definitely hits it, and it spins it for a loop, breaking off several more chunks.
Okay. Let me see. I will move a little closer over here. And that's it.
All right. This new one looks around, or at least begins to spin around rapidly, and finally it fixes its silicon spines on you, Alistair, and says, "The knights will find you, little one. You cannot touch the void forever before it consumes you." And this thing dives off the edge of the ship down into the water. And disappears. All right, Miri.
No, we can't let it get away.
Mary's gonna run over and jump off here and try to finish it off.
All right. Unfortunately, you don't have pack tactics, so you leap into the air and you miss. You come hurtling down about 10 feet, or 20 feet actually, and you hit the ground kind of hard, but creature seems to be too small, too far out of reach.
I get one more.
Well, you wouldn't be able to bite 3 times in midair, so you leap through the air, you bite once, and then you start to fall.
Oh, I see. It's floating above. Right. Okay. Fair. Kaboom, or the dino goes splat.
All right. So, always angry, you are up.
I'll hold my greatsword in my offhand and draw and throw a javelin. 11.
Ooh, all right. 11 hits and finishes this last one off.
Now I'll run down and grab my javelin.
All right. All of the enemies seem to be vanquished.
All right. Nell will go and snatch up her great axe that she dropped and put away her bow.
Can I get one of these things to examine it?
Well, every time that they die, they explode, so there's very little remaining. There's little crystalline void shards that are embedded in some of your party members' clothing, into the deck. Some of them have just shattered into what looks like fine powder or dust.
Nightshade brushes the void dust off her, sheathes her dagger, and looks annoyed. Hate things that don't believe.
They said that there's more down below. We have to hurry.
Miri will run to the lower deck.
All right, you guys rush below deck, and as you do so, you can see that the hull is, or the lower deck is now about 2 feet deep in water, as the holes haven't. Some of them have been patched up. None of these people seem to be sailors or in any way shipwrights, so they know how to repair any of this damage. But they're shoving blankets or anything that they can up against the holes to do what they can.
Do I see any more creatures?
It seems like the creatures, if there aren't any below deck. They just did whatever the damage they did to the exterior of the hull, and that's it.
All right. So we're sure there's no enemies down here.
Yeah, it looks like there's just a lot of water damage. That's it.
Could
Okay.
I use Entangle to try and like stabilize some of the holes, or at least slow the water?
Yeah, go for it.
When I see that there's no more threat, I'll drop protection from the void.
You'll end up entangling the people who are just trying to stop the holes.
Nightshade looks around at some of the injured people and just walks over to some of the more injured ones. Anyone need medical attention? And just we'll see if they'll let her heal them.
Yeah, most of them are in various states of injury. None of them are too badly injured, but most of them will be happy to accept any healing that you may have. They're kind of peculiar. This woman, she seems to take notice of you, and she scans you very thoroughly. You can see she has partially rounded ears, and although she can't see much about you, she seems to take a great interest in you and kind of hold, put her hand on your shoulder for a moment and say, "What is your name? Where are you from?"
Nightshade. I was raised in the forest.
"And why are you here? I don't usually allow just anyone to lay their hands upon me, whether they claim to heal or otherwise."
I'm just a traveler. Maybe I don't offer to heal just anyone. My magic, I don't use it for healing often, but maybe I'm just feeling like I should help someone. Whatever.
She seems to quickly finish what she's doing, holding whatever she can against the walls, and the entangle starts to go up, holding kind of almost like a spider web of glue, putting the various different pieces in place that stop up much of the water, although you're going to need to pump a lot of it either by hand or through some other mechanism to drain this lower level. But she does seem to quickly switch to a very wide grin, looks around at everyone, and she shouts, "I think we got it, everyone." You're like, "Oh, wow, that's really loud." And as she does, you can see her neck begin to turn, and she has a rather intricate, if not beautiful, tattoo of a gorilla that runs along the right side of her neck. And she lets go of your shoulder and says, "Yeah, of course, I would be happy to accept any healing you may have." She rolls her shoulders. "I think I threw my arm out back there when we were fighting one of those crystal creatures."
Nightshade inclines her head and will look at the arm. See what she can do to help.
She says, "Thank you. I appreciate that." Ooh, ow, that hurts. "My name is Morella Sill. Pleasure to meet all of you."
Pleasure to meet you. Is the water still rushing in?
It's starting to slow. You still have, a good 2 feet of water that's sitting at the bottom of the boat, weighing it down. Probably not going to be able to go anywhere anytime soon until it's fixed. But you have it managed enough that as fast as you can get rid of it, it comes back in. but maybe after a couple more hours of work, you can patch it enough to keep it from coming all together.
Does anyone
Well,
know
no.
what brought those creatures to the ship?
I was hoping you knew, Alistair.
They seem to know you.
Yes, you know what they're saying? With the crackling in the brain?
Darkness attracts darkness, as they say.
I wasn't wielding any void magic that should have been detectable at the time.
Okay.
Now we'll busy yourself trying to stop up any other holes while
This
this
one-
conversation is going on.
Oh, Nightshade looks at Alistair. Does one even need to wield the darkness in order to be able to sense the darkness? She arches an eyebrow.
Not always. I try to keep it suppressed and only use it in the direst circumstances. And you can tell as he's talking about the void magic that he uses that he actually hates it.
Nightshade just looks at him. You hate what you are.
I am not of the void. I've seen the destruction it can cause, and I'm opposing the void by using their own power against them. And he looks very unhealthy. You can tell that contact with the void has had some bad physical side effects on him. His skin is splotchy and waxy, and his eyes are kind of milky looking, and he's kind of asthmatic sounding. He's not at all a healthy person.
As you guys are
Nightshade.
having this discussion, one of the few survivors, this gentleman in the back, scoffs. Not looking well there, friend. Maybe you should go see a doctor.
Before this incident, how many sailors were helping the captain sail the ship?
At least a dozen.
And how many have survived?
None that you've seen.
Oh my god. Have we seen their corpses?
You did see a few of them on deck, although there were some bodies when you first got on the top deck that were floating in the water. Nobody really stopped to look around after the battle, but you would assume that they're still there, assuming the ship hasn't started to move again.
All right. And what about the captain?
So as you guys are talking, this female Minotaur comes back down that you saw earlier, and she tells you, Captain, he's not doing well. I brought him to his quarters, but his arm's broken for sure. It's bandaged up, but he's going to need to rest for several days.
I'll see what I can do for him.
Most of the crew is dead or leapt overboard in madness to try to escape.
All right, so Nell will head to the captain's quarters to check on the captain.
All right.
Yes, he will know what to do. I will ask him what Miri can do.
Do you have proficiency in medicine? I'd like to try to help him with it if I can.
Miri no do medicine exactly. Miri do good berry. You need berries?
No, I don't think that will help.
Okay. Miri go anyway. Miri want to meet Captain.
Okay.
I studied medicine.
Perhaps we can help one another. We need the captain alive.
If you trust one who learned how to heal from a hag, Nightshade scoffs a little and follows.
Hey, you all gonna leave? We have work to do down here.
We'll be back. The captain is in trouble.
We're
We need him to
passengers,
get the
not
ship to shore.
deckhands.
Yeah. What do I look like?
We're all doing what we need to. Otherwise, we're gonna die out here.
3 people healing the captain. You know, let this ship go down. What good is a captain? You don't have a boat.
captain knows more about this ship than we'll ever know. Just gather up seawater in buckets if you have to, and dump it overboard.
I didn't pay to sign up for this. I want my bloody money back.
Nell will
Marilla,
roll her eyes.
Marilla
Get
says,
out.
yeah, please, see to the captain, but hurry back. There's not much we can do about here, just the three of us.
Okay.
She kind of elbows. Shut up, Bulver. Gonna get us into trouble. We need these people to help us. You want to die out here? I don't want to wait around here till those creatures come back.
I'll stay below deck and help them, but also keep an eye on them, make sure they're not touching our box.
Speaking of the box, you notice that
yeah,
it's
before we
gotten
wanted-
quite cold in here.
Is it
You
because
could-
of the box?
Yeah, Miri's looking for the box.
As
this
you
point.
as you search around, Mary, you can see it tucked away over here by itself, and there's a soft blue glow coming from the corner of the box. And the closer you get to it, the water seems to almost freeze, and you can see crystalline formations of water above the box, and it's almost like moving through slush as you try to shoulder your way through the 2-foot deep water over to the box. Only a little bit of the top of it showing.
All right, I'm gonna try to push it shut. I have no strength, but
All right, go ahead and make a strength check. All right, yeah, you managed to and shove it back into place, at least enough to to hold it together for now. You can see several of the arcane runes kind of flickering, and they seem to be damaged, but the box physically is shut. You just kind of sit there. It's cold.
does the ice linger?
It doesn't seem to be getting any worse, but the water is still freezing, so it doesn't immediately dissipate.
I got it. Cargoes is secure.
All right. All of you notice as you slosh through the water going this way toward the stairs that it's, you feel the sludge as the water slowly, approaching the box gets colder and colder. And then, of course, it gets warmer the further away you get from it. Although it's, difficult terrain to move through not only the water, but also the thick ice that has built up around this area of the ship.
Well, since I'm not good at manual labor or healing, I'll stay and keep an eye on the box.
All right. You just gonna sit there and stare at that box. You're not gonna even help us.
That's what I'm going to do.
City folk, they're useless.
I guess Nightshade and I are gonna find the captain.
So you guys head up to go speak to the captain, and he's in his room. He's bundled up under several of his sheets. He looks pretty worse for wear. His color is all drained from his skin. Some of his his fur seems to be either slicked with blood or is matted after covered in seawater or other fluids. Several looks like spines from those crystalline creatures have been pulled from his flesh and haphazardly bandaged. His arm is wrapped in a sling in what little tattered clothing that could be ripped apart and put together.
Glance over at Nightshade and say, "We can do better than this."
Nightshade nods.
What race is the captain? You
He's
said
a
fur.
Minotaur.
Okay. Well, I'll kneel by him and say, "Captain, can you let us take a look at your wounds? You look badly injured."
His eyes open slightly as he, through his haze and probably the medicine that he's been given, or just the pure exhaustion from his ordeal, he says, "What? Who's there?" "Oh, it's you. Yeah, it's good to see you. It's good that you were here. We run into trouble on the river, on the ocean sometimes, but Nothing like that.
Well, we are both forest-trained healers. Let me see that arm. And I guess, um, with the two of us, Nightshade, would you prefer to roll with my help or vice versa?
Um, well, I have a my medicine is only +3, so depends.
Well, that's better than mine. So I will
Okay.
help you.
Okay.
So roll with advantage. I mean, if as long as Primal allows it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. 6.
It's pretty
All right. Yeah, you manage to redress his wounds and situate him in as best as you can in his bed. Find some leftover wine, disinfect the wounds that are still visible, and change the bandages, and generally tend to him. He is still going to be several days of bed rest, assuming that he doesn't get
Yeah.
a serious infection or whatever those creatures are didn't do something horrible with their magical spines, that might have injured him in a way that you don't know. But from a physical wounds perspective, he'll probably recover in the next week, if not sooner.
well. Captain, we do have a little bit of a problem. We don't have your crew aboard anymore. They've they've most likely died.
Or
I'm
jumped
sorry to say.
overboard.
We don't know where they are, and we don't know how to sail the ship. At least I don't.
No, you're gonna have to do the best you can. I saw a few moments after those things came crawling up along the ship's side. A dozen of my best men leapt to their deaths or were speared to death before they knew what hit them.
Can you give us some guidance on how to steer and maneuver this ship, and how to use the sails and rigging? And I'm completely lost. All this is foreign to me.
He starts to give you some basic directions in how to manage the ship, although much of it goes over your head, and you can see it, the lids of his eyes are getting very heavy. He, after about a minute or two, begins to nod off and begins snoring soon after. Not much what he told you makes any sense, and you're not sure if he could really teach you much in the span of a minute. It might take a little bit longer to learn how to navigate a ship.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure it does. All right.
You just get a bunch of mumble, the riggings, the sail, band, rudder.
I'll look it over at Nightshade. That wasn't much help.
Nightshade thinks for a minute. Let's just improvise. Use our mind.
I've never had a lot of success with that.
Well, that's what I'm for.
Give Nightshade a little grin. So I guess I will leave the captain to his bed rest.
Nightshade follows.
One skill that Nell does have is that she has proficiency in woodcarver's tool. Could I perhaps manufacture something to stop up the holes permanently, or at least semi-permanently, so that we don't keep taking on water?
Yeah, you sure can. It'll take you a day or two depending on how well you roll, on getting something that can be implemented. But yeah, if you work together building something, the crew can try to assist you, or the crew that is left, which is you guys basically, and the other passengers can try to implement that.
Yeah. Does anyone else have a skill with woodcarver's tools to help me? Proficiency, that is. No? Okay.
Nightshade only has herbalism and poisoning.
Okay. Well, all right. So I will try to improvise as best I can. Used barrels, any wooden stuff around that I can use to carve and lash together to plug these holes for good. Yeah. Would you like me a roll?
Yeah. So basically, you guys are able to put up a makeshift patchwork on the lower portion of the deck, the lower deck, and keep it at the same level. Between the precarious nature of the cargo crate, which has been damaged, although for now it is closed enough to not be a threat, water is flowing in roughly as fast as you can take it out, so you're able to manage that. The next day, you guys can devise a plan. Start working on some wood carving tools to take some of the extra lumber that has been kept here specifically for that purpose, and any other scrap that you guys want to pull together, and that can be what you do basically for the day now as you try to make use of that. Morella tells you that she does have some skill with the arcane arts, so she can perhaps burn something, and cauterize something into place, or she has some other minor magical talents if you could make use of that. Bulver is a merchant, and he is rather astute at what he does. Perhaps if you needed someone to help place them or otherwise implement whatever plan you guys come up with, he could probably make use. And he's a fairly strong guy, but other than that, he doesn't have any exceptional skill, mainly focusing on mercantile enterprises.
Well, his skill set sounds like he'd be great for taking buckets of water and dumping them overboard.
Yeah, he said he was afraid you would say that. The final crew member that you have not met introduces herself as Vidra Valiantheart, another Minotaur, and she actually is quite adept with her hands, and she's able to repair some of the rigging, and she's not a sailor by trade, but she seems to catch on pretty quickly, having watched the last 2 or 3 weeks as you guys have been on your journey together, what the crew has been doing just out of pure boredom. And so she's able to keep things at least from veering straight into the side of an island or anything like that. But they have said that they are at your disposal, and Vidra is going to keep an eye on the captain, and obviously, as probably some of you are, throughout the next couple of days. But they are at your disposal, however you wish to try to repair the ship.
Yeah.
Nightshade
yeah.
is Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Nightshade is going to use her, hopefully, adequate brain to try and figure out how to get this ship to where they need to go.
Sure. Go ahead and make an
Navigation?
intelligence check, or if you have navigation skills, but otherwise, it's just a raw intelligence check.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, you study some of the maps that the captain has and speak to the other passengers, look over, your time that you've spent on the ship so far and your past experience. And you're able to give a rough estimate of the direction you need to go in order to make it to Cindass. You guys were already heading toward it, so the little bit of course correction that you need to make to get it back toward where you're going seems fairly simple, and you're able to easily chart a course where you believe you'll need to go. So while you are at the helm, the ship seems to be going exactly where you want it to go, toward your destination.
One of the first things I would have done when I was able to get to it was to check my parchments and books and stuff to make sure that they didn't get submerged in the water.
Yeah, some of your stuff is a little damp, but luckily most of the stuff was locked away in chests or in other secure locations. Going on board a ship and leaving stuff just out and about, quick recipe for destruction. So for the most part, nothing of significance is damaged.
Mary's gonna check the box again just to make sure it's good.
All right.
So don't get any more ice.
Yeah, make a perception check. Yeah, you're not sure what you can really do about it, but some of the runes on this box are beginning to fade, and those that were flickering the previous day are now out, and new ones are flickering, and it seems like the magic that's sustaining this is beginning to fade.
I'll find Alistair and ask him if he knows about runes or what might be happening. Alistair, you know about this? You know the runes? You do runes?
Let me examine them.
They're slowly dimming. More today than yesterday.
Can I do a Arcana check?
You sure can. Yeah, you can tell that this is rune magic, and it's fairly complicated. It is holding something of pretty potent power, whatever it is that this box is designed to hold. Uh, is very potent, is very nasty type of magic that it would need, some sort of artifact level magic, or perhaps a ninth level spell, or a horrible creature of void or something like that, in order to require this much aid. Luckily, whoever built this, or whoever covered it in runes, did so with the mindset that there's several safeguards put in place. So it's not, if one rune goes down, this thing all fails. But several of the safeguards have been lost. Once half of the runes are disabled, whatever is inside of this is going to start leaking out no matter what you do, even if the box remains closed. But keeping it closed at least is preventing it from overcoming the runes.
So can I tell why they're fading or what might be causing it? Or is it just a normal time lapse for the ability of these runes?
No, these runes should have lasted for years, if not decades, if left unmolested. But the damage that this box sustained in the attack, as well as several look like attempted puncture wounds, but scrapes. You would assume that your assailants made it down here at some point and tried to rake the edges of this box to break into it, and managed to succeed long enough to damage it. But it looks like somebody came in, probably the other passengers, interrupted them and either killed them or they fled.
So I'll look at Nell and say, see, they weren't after me. They were after what's in the box.
Well, that's good news.
Do you know how long we have? I guess Miri can do some math. All right, do I have a rough idea based on like the timing of the last ones that went out and how many there are altogether? Or
you can make a rough calculation if you like, but Alistair can tell you have maybe a week at most. A couple of days would be 2-3 days if things don't go well.
We have to hurry to get this box where it needs to be before the protection of the runes wears off.
And thanks to Nightshade's excellent piloting skills, she estimates, if you mentioned to her, that you have about 6 days left of travel, because you'll have only made about 1 day's worth of travel since before this happened.
Then on the second day, is the captain conscious enough to have a conversation for an hour?
Yes, he is.
I'll see his fortune and see if his future looks bright or dreary.
Yeah, the captain's future does not look very it's not a very rosy outlook. Definitely a very bleak picture of the future as you get, storm clouds. You see an old man with blazing red eyes, strange winged creatures. You see women in what look like angelic armor, with horribly gaudy looking depictions, raucous mercenaries, rowdy, various different taverns, bandits that surround his future. You're not sure if this is necessarily a good or a bad sign, but it definitely seems that there's a lot of tumult in his future.
I won't tell any of this to him, but I'll share it with the party.
Well,
His
at least you
future.
saw him. At least you saw him on dry land. You can see that Nell is very uncomfortable being on this ship, and constantly fretting over the ship going down and taking on too much water.
Yeah, I'm not much good away from ley lines and in the water, so I'm not real comfortable either.
I hate sea travel. Hate it. Just want to get to solid ground again.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I want to touch ground. Water is unnatural.
So, Nell, if you would like to make your woodcarver's check, you can.
I would like to. What is that based on?
I would say you can do either dexterity or intelligence.
Okay. Well, intelligence. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this.
So you create enough passable, planks and other materials that can patch up these holes, and that way that'll give the rest of the crew over the next day or so the chance to empty out a significant amount of the water. So you spend the rest of the day building this, and the crew, those who are available, Bolver can help you, of course, and Vidra, when she's not tending to the captain, can help patch up the remainder of the holes, and then on the third day, they can start taking buckets of water and pumping it out.
With Nels fumbling around with the wood carving tools, I'll say to her, I don't think they're going to care that you were here if the ship goes down. So carving Nell was here isn't really going to help.
I seemed like a thing to do.
Would it help at all if I used frostbite to like freeze water and you could like bale it in chunks?
Yeah,
Maybe not.
that definitely might help them if you want to freeze some of the water and carry it out in more manageable bits.
Cool, I'll do that.
All right. So you start sort of at assembly line where you freeze it. There's a ramp that they put over the stairs to help, with a rope pulling it up and then throwing it over the deck. And
Nightshade. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Nightshade shakes her head, watching them toss ice overboard and just keep steering the ship. I should never have left the forest.
All right. So you guys, after 3 days, you begin to pick up pace, and the runes are slowly still fading. It's getting dangerously close to about 2/3 of the runes remaining, and you only have a little bit left before you reach that halfway point. The ship is now back to full speed, although you're undercrewed. So most of what goes on, you guys have to work long shifts to keep everything running properly, and not everything seems to be as obvious to you as perhaps it is to Nightshade, your temporary captain. But Captain Neonon is getting well, and he starts to come on deck, and then he brings his bed out, and then eventually just a chair, so you can start issuing orders, first requests, and then barking orders at you, directing you which way to go and how best to handle his ship.
Does he know that we have an artifact in a rune box?
He has not gone below deck, and he was paid a hefty sum to ask no questions. Unless any of you mention it to him, he is not aware, as far as you know, that there's a box with something magical inside of it.
The less he knows, the better.
Excellent.
Yep.
More days that pass, and the longer Nightshade has to go steering that ship, the grumpier she gets. And in the mornings, she is very grumpy. Like, if she has to be up in the morning, no one better come near her.
Yeah, the on the fourth day, after having nothing but what little fish you guys can catch and the constant stink of the sea, you're now going on your third week aboard this vessel, and you're not making good time. You don't have any, or at least not much wine. There's definitely no music or partying in the evening. It's just 12, 15-hour shifts where you guys have to just work everyone's job that's not here any longer. And you basically spend the night passed out, sleeping as much as you can before getting up and doing it all over again. Some people are taking it better than others. Bolver, as a merchant, he's not definitely used to working with his hands, and he complains quite often about it to pretty much anyone who'll listen, and most of the people who won't.
Nightshade actually probably pulls a dagger on someone who tries to wake her up in the mornings.
Yeah, Vidra, who's now no longer needed as much with Nianan. She she definitely keeps her distance from you as you are a little difficult in the morning, and goes about kind of stoically. We're doing what little repairs or anything in the ship that she can really take handle on. Marina or Morella has basically taken upon herself to be the morale boost, the morale officer of this ship, finding whatever time to have jokes or extra, perhaps a little extra spice in the food to make stuff that's not quite so bland. One of the things people don't often think of is that you don't have a cook any longer, so you eat whatever the most plain, easy thing is to make, which is often just cooking raw fish. But she does what little she can to offset that with her magical talents. And after the 8 days of a 6 or 7 day journey was supposed to be, you pull into limp, might be a better term, into the harbor at Cindass, and the entire bottom of the boat is almost frozen at that point, as now the runes have been compromised, and the box seems to almost freeze within the whole area. You're not quite sure how you're going to manage to get any of that out of there, but you do manage to make it into port.
Did we have any instructions besides take the box, like where to take it or to who?
You were told, those of you who were in Cadiz when this started, you spoke to Kalina, who said that you were to bring it to a woman by the name of Madam Azra, and anybody who received a note elsewhere would not have been given that information, as that's somewhat secret. And so you would have been given kind of a more vague hint of who to bring it to. But Madame Azra, as far as you're aware, is a well-known lady of this city. She's very wealthy and affluent, and she should have no trouble locating her. She has her own tower as a master architect that she had constructed, much different than the rest of the city.
Told that it's a tower of ivory and marble. It should stick out like a sore thumb in the city.
Ooh, Midi cannot wait to see.
So the captain is definitely on the mend by the time you arrive, and he's gotten a little suspicious with the fact that nobody will allow him or will keep redirecting him anytime he tries to go below deck. But he's not willing to risk a mutiny. He just wants to get to shore, and then he can deal with it later. But he's politely asked that you take some shore leave and get the heck off his boat as soon as possible. And the other crew members, one by one, thank him, somewhat gruffly, but definitely a little more earnestly thank all of you for helping them get here alive. And Bulver says, "If you ever need anything, buy or sell, I'm your man, all right?" And he smiles, most winning smile, as if he hasn't been a total pill the entire voyage, and walks off the ship with his bag, whatever possessions he brought on board, and walks down the deck, or walks down the dock away from you.
I'd like to use my hand axe and try to free our box from the encasement of ice and get it out of here.
All right, you get to work on chopping that free.
Yeah.
Careful where you swing that thing.
Oh, I'm not using my great axe. I have a hand axe for that.
Ah,
Still, be careful.
Don't poke more holes in the ship.
I won't. Alistair, do you have some sort of magic to melt this ice? Or Nightshade, do either of you?
Midi has flaming sphere.
We
made
saw
me
how
very-
well that went. We saw how well that went last time, Mary.
Is what they call situational.
Unless you want something frozen or death magic, I don't think I'm any use.
As long as you don't burn down the ship with a flaming sphere, perhaps you can use that to melt the ice.
Yes, I in control of it. I make it dance, you see. Miri show you.
I'll step
I'm
back.
going to step back.
It's funny.
Alright,
The two of us
so I'm
are
gonna-
immediate reaction. Step back.
Alistair's still just sitting on the box.
Nope, I took off.
Yeah, I'll use a flame sphere to try and melt the ice.
All right, go ahead and make a dexterity check.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah. So, well, that's a save, not a check, but that's pretty much the same thing. So you very astutely, like a surgeon, burn the area around this box, preventing it from harming the ship. A couple of little, blackened areas, but nothing that anyone would be able to tell that was you. And so you're easily able to extract it out. It's still pulsing with deep cold energy, and now being exposed. The room itself has gone from frigid and completely dry cold to a steaming sauna. And you still, now all of anybody who's in the room is just bathed in this thick steam, and which quickly, kind of solidifies into a mist, and the cold sinks down to the floor once more. And you can see just the top edge of the box as it's shrouded in mist. But it is at least free now.
It's been so long since my sinuses were clear. Thank you.
There's
let's
a
not-
jungle in here.
All of your pores are really open.
Let's not tell the captain we did this. He might lose his mind.
You just see smoke or fog billowing up the stairs up to the floor. He's like, what the heck are all of you doing down there?
I know. I don't know. I just rolled in.
I don't think telling the captain will matter for some reason.
We're getting off the ship, like you said.
You hear this very bovine snort going up the stairs as he stomps back and forth on the deck. He's like, I don't even want to know.
Do they have a winch to get the box up through the cargo hold?
There is, yeah. So you guys can go up and pull it up through the cargo hold and rest it on the deck. He just quirks an eyebrow as this frozen box almost pulses with cold up on the deck, and you can see it seems to start to form crystalline anchor points on the deck, holding itself in place like roots that sort of grow out from wherever you put it.
How heavy is this box?
Oh, it's not that heavy. It's maybe 10 pounds.
Oh,
Is it holdable with the cold, or are we not able to hold it directly?
It's very awkward to hold with one person. It's light, but it's like, carrying, it's a 3x3 cube that is very, very cumbersome for a normal medium-sized creature.
So it's like we're furniture movers. And like two of us could do it.
Exactly.
Al could do it.
Easily. I'll tie a
Really
rope
not
around
good
it.
at this.
Well, let's not drag it. I'll help you.
No, I was gonna tie a rope around it and then like throw it on my back.
Backpack it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you're easily able to put it to your back. It quickly forms an icicle bond to your back, so the rope isn't really necessary after a while. And you can see it's slowly bringing crystalline formations across his back, although, as always, Angry is moving. You hear as they break off as fast as they're forming, preventing it from overwhelming him. But it is still pretty cold anywhere nearby him. So,
what's the city look like?
as you leave the ship, you see this city is bustling with activity, people moving about in all directions, other ships that have come and gone, people appraising your vessel. And the outside of the ship actually looks like it's in pretty decent shape. It's only from the inside you can tell that it's somewhat damaged. And Morella waits for you at the edge of the docks. She seems she's hesitant, wanted to ask you something, but as you begin to depart, she says, I was just wondering, we've been traveling together for quite some time now, and I haven't had the courage to ask you, what is in that box?
We don't know.
Okay. What besides the box? I mean, I don't mean to pry, but what is it that you're all here to do? Is it you're just all here to deliver that box? Is it really that valuable?
We were
Yes.
commissioned to deliver the box, not to investigate what's in it.
We were told specifically not to be too curious.
Oh, interesting. Well, I don't mean to pry. It just piqued my interest.
It's fine. You're as curious as we are. We just don't know.
Well, I'll be in the city for some time. If you need anything, feel free to look me up. It was a pleasure
will
to
you
travel
be?
with you for the most part.
I'm gonna try to, as covertly as possible, whisper to Nell that we should be wary of anybody too curious about the box.
Oh, yes, I guess so. You know from our travels that Nell's a bit of a country bumpkin. She doesn't. She just takes everything at face value. So
I'm gonna
that
go.
had to be for her.
She tells you, I'm gonna head up to the fortress, to Fortress Talisha, and see if I can have some of my requests answered directly. But other than that, I probably will stay in the strong boxes.
Do we have a specific location that we're supposed to deliver the box?
Yes, to the tower.
Avara's tower. Avala?
Ava?
Avara.
I'll ask Morella if she knows where that tower is.
I've been here a few times before. I do. I believe it's south of here, of the harbor. If you head in
But the town, is it sticking up?
it's not tall enough to see from here, but she points in the general direction where she believes that it is.
Okay.
Says, I've heard of Madam Azra. She's quite a patron of the arts. This should be a rather interesting situation for you. That's where you're headed.
She will love my singing voice.
Perhaps. Well, it's been wonderful to meet all of you. I wish it had been under better circumstances, but I must bid you farewell. Good luck.
If we need to contact you, where should we find you?
I'll be in the strong boxes. I'll have a room there.
All right.
Is that an inn or a military barracks or what is that?
Oh, it's just a general district of the city. If you're looking for accommodations, you could probably stay in one of the inns there. There are several throughout the city. I'm personally going to be staying at the Laughing Labyrinth. It's somewhat low brow, but I like the company.
You know, something happened on the ship on the way here that made me realize I should probably get a light crossbow as a backup. So, do you know where I can find a light crossbow at a good price?
Well, I hate to say this, but you could always speak to Bolvar. He's well connected in the merchant community here. I'm sure he'd be able to find you something at a good price. The man can be a little unsavory at times, but he knows his stuff. He's very good at what he does.
What's Bolvar's attitude toward us been?
I mean, he complained most of the journey about the poor conditions, but in general, he had a great time the first half of the voyage when you guys were able to drink and sing together and have more of a relaxing voyage.
He didn't seem to like me much.
Yeah, he didn't seem to appreciate some of you guys who were asking him to do all the hard labor while you did other stuff, but he did it.
Yeah. All right, Miri is itching to go to this tower.
Okay, so Morella is gonna step back and speak to the captain before he heads off. He's looking much better, but they have a couple private words. You guys can move on to wherever you're gonna go. Looks like your other shipmates have begun conducting their own business in town, and other ships are coming and going into the Bay of Hirosh.
I'll go to the captain and tell him he should express caution and I'll tell him his fortune that I read earlier.
He seems somewhat perturbed by that. Well, we've made it here, so that's something, but I'll definitely keep an eye out for mischief.
Then I'll leave with the rest of the party.
All right. As you're leaving, you notice one of the groups of people that you saw in his vision. That would be this group of women. They all seem to be similar features and matching armor. They have what look like mechanical or welded steel wings on the back of their armor. You don't know if that's for function or for just for form, but they all wear matching armor, and they seem to be getting into some sort of an argument next to your former shipmate Vidra, as she's kind of buying something from a merchant nearby, and behind where she is, the two of these will look like mercenaries, and another group of men and women who look like they are some sort of elemental distant relations are getting into a heated argument. Weapons haven't been drawn yet, but it's getting rather rough looking, and both of these groups are look like they know their way around a weapon.
So does it look like Vidra might be in trouble? I mean,
possibly. She doesn't seem to notice that she's so close to them.
Maybe we should help Vidra. She looks like she's surrounded over there.
I got this, and I'll take the lead as I walk over there.
Wait, you got the box.
All right. So as you get to the edge of the at the edge of the dock, the box continues to pulse with its frozen magic or whatever it's doing on your back. Crystalline pieces falling off. You see several cages nearby that begin to form these crystalline ice shards around them. And you approach, you see these mercenary women in their steel winged armor. They draw weapons, as do the other what look like mercenaries as well, perhaps competing mercenary companies. The first will look like they're all women of Azamar descent, and they have what look like raunchy or otherwise lewd pictures. Each of them is different on the front and back of their armor, whereas the others seem to have some sort of holy symbol on their like leather or other very basic studded leather armor, and they're ready to throw down. And as they do so, you see people who are loading and unloading crates. Some of them will look like very carefully packed equipment, kind of like you saw with the alchemical supplies that your own captain unloaded a couple of stops ago. And their brawl seems to be devolving into crates spilling, weapons that seem to be getting shipped all over the place, armor. You see the liquid from oil lamps and other toxic and otherwise flammable liquids strewn everywhere, and the creatures in these cages start flailing about wildly, going berserk between the cold that you're bringing and the potential danger of burning or being acidic liquids flowing all over, burning through them or into the ground. And a near riot seems to be almost at the tip of being ignited.
Can I do a religion?
Around?
Sorry, Nell, what was that?
Yeah, are there any city guardsmen around?
There are. You can see that a handful of them are beginning to have like their weapons on their hands on their hilts, slowly moving. But as the crowd's jostling them, it's making it difficult for them to get through, and it looks like they're not going to get there in time, not before there's bloodshed, at least.
Can I do a religion check on the symbols that they're displaying?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, with a 15, you can tell that this is a mercenary company, but they have the divine symbol, if you can call it that, of one of the Wind Lords, Kamsin, and this mercenary company is called the Kamsin Crusaders, and they often work with a number of entities in the city, but they are specifically beholden to one of the 4 Wind Lords of the Dominion. And
Would I know anything about their proclivities as to whether they're do-gooders or scumbags?
yeah, so looking at these two mercenary parties, they're both pretty rough and tumble, but neither of them are pure, troublemakers or pure saints. But as you watch them, you can definitely tell that the mixture of the Counts and Crusaders with makeup Djinborn, human, even some gnolls among their more rough members. They are generally accepting of locals. They don't like outsiders. But other than that, they pretty much, they thrive on profit, and you know, they seem to have a much more free spirit, as they never stay in any one place for very long.
Okay, and
What
they're
would-
fighting over the creatures in the cages?
No, they just seem to have some sort of bitter rivalry between the two of them, and they're throwing insults back and forth between them.
This
No,
this
but-
none of our business. We have
I
great.
agree.
What do you?
All right. So as they are starting to get rough with one another, you can see that between the spilled supplies everywhere and the freezing cold from the box that you carry, some of the creatures' cages begin to weaken. And specifically this one, all three of them really in front of you, they begin to rattle in their cages. A small burn of acid spilled here dissolves part of the cage that this creature is in, and it manages to slip out. And as it does, you can feel the cold biting as it crushes, or it seems to coat some of this. And this dragon-like creature takes that opportunity, and it just blasts the whole area with its own breath weapon, and it smashes with its head the rest of the way out of the cage and begins moving about. And you can't see this, of course, because there are just so many, but there are dozens and dozens of dock workers, civilians, merchants, other people coming and going through this area. And they all begin screaming as a dragon and some sort of gremlin creature break free. And nobody's really paying any attention as this creature, some sort of monkey mixed with a plant, disappears into the crowd.
That looks familiar.
Monkey mixed with a
Ooh.
plant?
Not again.
I'm sure I'm within range of a ley line now, right?
Are you? I don't believe you are.
Oh, I thought there was a Titanic ley line running right through here.
There is one about 10 miles outside of the city, but there's not one that runs through the city.
Oh.
Could I try animal handling on whatever this creature is? Do I know what it is?
You may definitely attempt to. So at this point, well, with that roll, let's go ahead and roll initiative just to keep track. You don't have to necessarily be in combat with these creatures, but just so we can see what all of you want to do. So everybody who would like to may roll initiative.
Not exactly where I would want a nat 20.
All right, so everyone has rolled. Alistair, you are up first. The creatures break through their cages through their various means. This creature seems to have just picked a lock, or perhaps this cage had already removed the lock and it had just been waiting for an opportunity to leave. It's something away. In general, it's just a complete chaos.
throw down a lay disruption. It's a 15-foot radius, and I'm going to put it so that it catches this guy and kind of puts a buffer between us and other stuff running up to us.
All right.
Oh, visually, what do I see from that?
So it looks like the out of the creature's area in this little pink area that you can see, there is swirling energy of some kind that jumps up out of the creature's space as Alistair seems to be using his hands and reciting some sort of incantation and disrupting the area around it. So some of the stone begins to move at odd angles, causing everyone who moves through it to kind of carefully place their steps in order to move correctly.
Yeah, I wanted
I wanted to back it up so that we're not in it, but it is between us and anybody that would be coming toward us.
So should be approximately this size.
Yeah, just move it up one space. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, all the ground in that radius is shimmering and shifting and rippling and tripping everybody that walks through it.
All right. This creature seems unaffected by this.
Of course he is.
And he goes,
I think it's still difficult terrain for him, though, right?
Possibly. You'll have to see when it is his turn. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm going to back up a little bit. And now I'm done.
All right. So this creature continues weaving its way through the crowd. It is going to swipe out, and you hear a man, "Oh, that's my sword! Get back here!" And you hear, and this thing runs around and disappears behind some boxes carrying a large, ornately carved sword. All right, Nightshade.
Nightshade is going to move a little bit this way and try and draw that dragon creature's attention a little bit to try and calm it down. Try and calm it and maybe tame it a little bit.
Maybe animal handling?
Yeah, probably animal handling or either persuade or animal handling, one or the other. Depending. Try and keep it from attacking maybe.
Sure. What languages do you speak?
Elvish, Common, Abyssal.
All right. Which one do you like to do? Animal handling, or do you want to use persuasion?
I'll try animal.
All right. Go ahead and make an animal handling check. All right. The creature seems highly intelligent, and so you are able to, get a feel for this creature. It's not angry. It just seems to be very, very antsy, and you can see that the cage that it had broken out of has somebody's seal, as if there's obviously an owner to this creature. It was going somewhere, kind of like a shipping manifest where a prominent merchant might stamp something on here to note that this is its property. And the creature, it seems to be somewhat agitated. Perhaps it hasn't been fed for a while, or it doesn't like all the crowds and the stimulation. And so you manage to calm it down, and it seems to be fixated on you for the moment. Whether that's a good thing or not is debatable, but it is not flinging its frost breath all over the place in the crowds or harming anyone.
Is there anything nearby that she could feed it? Like food that she could snatch or anything?
You can go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay. No.
Yeah, there's just a lot of, as far as you can tell, spilled weapons, armor. It looks like everything that's here is for would-be adventurers who've probably come here to find the Spark of Divinity, and cheap equipment and basic rations and stuff like that. But it's kind of hard to make out, as most of it's just spilled all over the ground from the riot that's about to kick off.
Okay. All right, and
All right, so the creature is calm for the moment.
She will talk to it softly and try and keep it calm, and that will end her turn for now.
All right, yeah, it's definitely keeping close eye on you. As it watches you, it slowly weaves its way through the crowd and comes right up to you, and you can see it. It's a rather beautiful creature, although it's probably a very young version of whatever it is, and appears to be some sort of dragon or a drake-like creature, and it just watches you with its very intense, piercing eyes, and that's all it does for the moment. This creature, this little horrid gremlin, zooms on out, and it seems to fight its way out of the disruption, although it's taken quite a lot longer than you would expect such a fast creature to be able to move. But nonetheless, it makes its way out, and it goes over to you, Alistair, and says, "Zappy, zappy," and he touches you with 2 fingers, and he makes like a motion like he's rubbing his fingers over carpet, and hits you with an 18 to hit.
That will hit. Shield is what?
+5.
5. Yeah, even with a shield, it would still hit me. So 6 lightning.
Mm-hmm. All right, and you seem to have some sort of condition, so you will find out what that is when that becomes relevant.
I do not like the sound of contagious lightning.
I know.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound... it sounds like Miri's fixing to get zapped by Alistair.
So I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Alistair or... Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alistair. All right.
That
so
is a fail.
yeah, you seem to kind of like someone who rubs, their hair over static. All of your hair stand on end and seem to gravitate toward this creature. And we'll see what happens next. So, this mercenary draws their blade and charges in toward one of the other ones and says, the Mantahors will never step down or stand aside, and she starts to fight. And you can see that you can tell now that the lewd pictures that are drawn on their armor appear to be the top halves of women and the bottom halves of Mantahors. And that is what they do. And it is Nell's turn.
All right.
I'm sorry, Alistair, go ahead and make a con save also for your concentration. Actually, Lady Disruption is not a concentration. Never mind. Just kidding. Nell, it is your turn.
All right. Well, I will, seeing this little shit attacked Alistair, I will take out my great axe and take a hefty old swing at it. So, yeah, I wasn't gonna go that far before, but then escalated the situation. 15.
A 15 does hit.
Yep, 9 slashing.
All right, and you cleave the creature in half, and you kill it.
Am I still
Sorry about that.
electrified?
You are still contagious.
Sorry about that. It needed to be done. I will move up over here, ostensibly to protect Nightshade, though I don't know whether she actually needs it or not. And that's it.
All right, Miri.
Is Vidra okay down there? Or did you say she was getting attacked?
She is right in the middle of this riot as the two mercenary groups seem to be going at it, and people are running into her. You know, she's pretty beefy, no pun intended, as she is a Minotaur. But she can hold her own. But there are many people who are shoving into her. She might get overwhelmed, and perhaps trampled if this goes badly for her.
Should have asked, where's the beef?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Miri's gonna just try to calm this down a little bit. I'm gonna cast an entangle in like whatever a highly concentrated area is.
All right, go ahead and post the spell card.
20-foot square of
right.
weeds and vines, grabbing everybody.
All right, so roughly like that. Does that so look like what you're looking for? Kind of grabbing a bunch of these mercenaries.
Yeah, wherever I guess the most like violent area is.
Oh yeah, it's definitely here. They are the instigators.
Am I within range? I am. Barely.
All right, so most of them succeed, but one of them does fail. All right, well, now the one Minotaur that's moved in has failed, and the rest can all beat the crap out of him. Anything else?
Mary's gonna get a little closer. Crouch behind these barrels and kind of watch the scene.
All right, always angry.
I'm gonna rush to help. And let's see. Here's 30. Then I'll dash and be right behind the monkey creature.
All right.
And I'll draw my greatsword. That's it.
All right, the Khamsin Crusaders go, and they will wallop the heck out of this restrained Minotaur. And she's pretty well armored, so most of their attacks don't ring. They do manage to get one past. All right, Alistair.
All right. So from where I am, it looks like Nell and Nightshade have things pretty well in hand up there.
Seems like it. There's a dragon staring at a Nightshade. You're not sure what it's planning to do or what it's thinking, but it seems to be inactive for the moment.
It's not aggressive though, right?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. Then I will come to right there. And none of these people are actively attacking Vidra, right?
They don't seem to notice that she's even there.
Okay. Well then, I will just leave them alone. That's it.
All right. This creature goes, it sees this giant trollkin, and yikes, and it's going to disappear into the crowd and run away. And try to hide. It's very hidey.
Did it dissing?
It did not.
Great. You already knew my question.
All right, yeah, you managed to score a hit on this creature, and it is running away. It looks like with some sort of valuable small sword in its many hands. That is all it can do. All right, Nightshade.
Nightshade is going to look at now and say, "Do not spook it. Don't spook it." And then she will look to the dragon and try and keep a non-hostile, non-threatening posture, keep it calm, and try and see again if there's anything she can feed the little thing. She wants to feed it.
Sure. Do you have anything on you?
How little is it, though?
It's a medium-sized creature, so it's the size of a large mastiff.
Okay.
Not that little.
Would she have any like meat or rations or any kind of jerky on her?
You probably have some rations, something on you. I'm sure you have maybe some leftover fish.
Okay, she could probably try and feed it some fish, maybe, if that would work.
Yeah. There's probably barrels of fish that have been dumped over by the commotion. You can reach over and grab one.
She's gonna offer it a little bit of fish. Give her to eat.
Yeah, the creature looks at you and has gone from tentatively wary of you to rather excited, and it looks at you and opens its mouth, and it sparks something out at you which you don't really understand, and seems eager. We'll definitely take the fish if you offer it.
Nightshade offers the fish and lets it eat.
Yeah, it says something to you in a rather rough, deep-sounding voice, considering the size of the creature, and then gulps down the fish.
Nightshade speaks to it and says, "I wish I could understand you, but I can't."
It turns its head quizzically.
And then she tries an abyssal. "Do you understand this?"
It seems very puzzled.
She tries an elvish. "What about this one?"
No, it seems to shake its head.
She shakes her head sadly. "I will find a way to understand, if I can."
Right. It puts its very large paw, covered in razor-sharp claws, like on your knee, and like a cat, and scratches at you very gently, though.
Nightshade puts her hand on its head and gently kind of pets it a little bit.
It seems to be hesitant at first, but then it nuzzles into your hand.
And Nightshade just smiles softly.
All right. Yeah, the creature turns its back on you, it wraps its tail around your leg protectively, and it hisses at the crowd as it starts to go crazy all around you, and people instinctively back away and start forming a line around the two of you, or the three of you really, and weaving away from this area. Even the guards that are still trying to push their way through pause for a second, and then they see this creature coming, or as they start coming toward it. All right. Unfortunately, our little gremlin is gone, so he is no more. But I need a Constitution saving throw from Alistair. All right. You managed to shrug off your contagious lightning.
I really wanted to see what it was going to do.
Yeah,
Wanted to see that.
maybe another day. You
Can
gotta
I
find another one of these.
voluntarily fail? I'm kidding. Oh, it's not my turn.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to scoot your feet along the ground and shock yourself, you can. But you have to wait for your turn. So, Mantahors go. They rush in, heedless of the danger, and we'll need to make saving throws. This one's already not caught, but this one rushes in. That one is stuck, but they're going to swing at their enemies nonetheless. And they're not terribly effective in this web. All right, Nell.
All right, Nell will put her great axe away, and then gently, like slowly, like you would reach out to a dog you don't know, and pat its hand and look at Nightshade and say, "If this creature is sentient and is smart, it should not have been in a cage. Do you know if it is or not?"
Nightshade looks at Nell. It seems to be. I think it speaks in its own language. It seemed to understand words at least.
And unless it's a danger, it should not be caged.
No, it shouldn't.
All right, so I imagine that's my full turn.
All right. Miri.
Oh, how did it react to me patting its paw or clawed hand?
It looks at Nightshade, and it looks much like a cat. It doesn't know you very well, but it allows it.
Miri's gonna creep a little closer. I say, Angry, don't forget about the box.
It's frozen to my back. How could I forget?
Miri's gonna throw another entangle on them just to see it, get them to stop fighting.
So that releases the ones that are entangled, but then it re-entangles. We're going to try to re-entangle all of them. And it does grab 3 of them this time.
Yeah. She says, simmer down.
All right. So 3 of those are entangled. All right. Always angry. What do you do?
It's angry.
Yeah, I'll move over to here, but I'm not attacking anyone. I'm just standing here watching.
All right. They seem to ignore you for the most part, and they continue their battle. And after they continue to wail on one another, the guards manage to rush the scene, and you see 24 of the city Minotaur guards push their way through. Now the crowds have dissipated, and they surround you, both from the north and to the south, and say, "What is the meaning of this? What is going on here?" And you see the captain of the guard push his way through. He demands, "All of you, arrest these troublemakers. Let the emir decide their fate." And they move to arrest all of you.
sheathe my sword and I say, I'm not with them.
That's not for us to decide. The Emir will decide your fate. Now come with us. Don't make any trouble.
When a soldier approaches us, I'll say, we've gathered up this creature that was freed from a cage. We didn't harm anyone. We've done nothing wrong. In common.
It's the property of Madam Azra. It's none of your concern. Please come with us before we have to deal with you. We don't want any trouble, especially from outlanders.
Nightshade gently pets the creature and says, "Sorry, little one. I'm going to have to leave you now." And she smiles sadly and steps back and looks to the guards and bows her head. "I mean no harm. Come without trouble."
All right. So as they bustle you, the two of you away.
Does it have wings? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
It does. It does have wings. It looks like basically the equivalent of rubber bands or something like that. Is tensile strength is holding its wings down, preventing it from escaping. It can walk, but its wings are currently at this point non-functional. And some of the other guards who seem to be prepared for such things, they come over and they grab the creature. And
I was gonna try something.
Yeah, go ahead and try something.
I'd like to just take a regular utility knife or something like that, something that's non-threatening, not my great axe, and snap these bands and try to free this creature.
Right. Let's see. The guards will try to lunge at you to attack you if you do that. So if you want to, you can try to cut it free before they get to you.
Yes.
All right. So let's re-roll initiative just for you. See who wins.
I'm not great with initiative. Nope. Not a fast person.
Yeah, the guards lunge for you, and 3 of them grapple you to the ground before you can get close to the creature. 4 more of them grab the creature, and 2 more of them watch Nightshade to make sure that she doesn't cause any trouble. And as they restrain the creature, they more or less move it to one of the ships and say, "This is none of your concern. This creature's already been purchased."
Let me go. Let me go.
And
are all the city guard Minotaurs?
Yes, they are.
So the Minotaur is the predominant population here?
By far, yes.
Okay. Yeah,
this is basically the last Minotaur city where this kingdom used to be. It was a Minotaur kingdom. So many Minotaurs, especially recently, many of them begin flowing back into the city when they had left long ago. So there's a lot of them, and they are very large and very muscular, far more than most humanoids. And so they managed to easily hold Nell and prevent her from causing trouble. And even the dragon is unable to really do much, and without its wings, it can't get away. And they restrain it and put it aboard Captain Neonun's ship, and they have to get another cage to restrain it. But you see as it's lowered into the hold, and along with a bunch of other cargo that he was planning on taking on.
We'll struggle and curse the guards.
How much? How much
creature? It's an intelligent creature. How would you like to be in a cage?
How much would I know about this city, the nature of it?
You can make a history check if you like. What is it that you're trying to remember about the city?
Basically, their disposition toward visitors, outsiders. Haha.
Yeah, I mean, this city is a lot more cosmopolitan than the rest of the region. There are predominantly Minotaurs that live here and rule this area, but there's a number of other creatures that take this opportunity to be here, especially with the rumors of the divine spark, the spark of divinity being found. You can see creatures that would never be seen normally in these lands showing up. You can, reaving dwarves, obviously humans of all various different stripes, trollkin and giants, and all kinds of, even Ramag far to the south have been seen nearby.
And it's the Moon Empire, Moon Kingdom.
The Moon Kingdom, yeah. I mean, this is the last city from that kingdom that was destroyed 300 years ago, so it's not a
Okay.
Moon Kingdom any longer.
Okay, so just playing on Minotaur pride, I will say is this how visitors are welcome to the last bastion of the Moon Kingdom?
They kind of scoff. We don't deal with troublemakers like you, and they, gesture with their chin toward the mercenary groups. You money grubbing outsiders.
We've come
Not
at the
welcome
behest of
here.
one of your honored citizens.
Yeah, tell it to the Emir. That's what everyone always says. Oh, the Queen sent me. Oh, the spider prophet sent me. Oh, of course, yeah. We've heard it all
Okay.
before, buddy.
Yeah, I see who we're dealing with. All right, well, take us to the Emir and get ready for your rebuke for how we've been treated.
Yeah. Okay, you sickly old man. Let's go. I don't want you to trip and break your neck on the way there. That'd be a real tragedy. So they grab the Mantihors and the Khamsin Crusaders as well, and they grab Vidra, and the monkey creature manages to disappear with whatever stolen treasure it managed to pilfer from somebody, and Bulver manages to stand back far enough to not get drawn into all of this. As I wasn't involved. I'm just a bystander, and the rest of you, unfortunately, are bustled off to the Emir's palace, the fortress specifically, and you're brought over to Fortress Talisha.
All the while, Nell is sputtering and fuming about the dragon having its own language and being a person. And how dare you lock it up in a cage?
Nightshade's not happy either, but she's very quiet about it.
All right. So as you voice your various protests, the strong arm tactics of the Minotaur guards, they're not roughing you up or anything like that, but the iron grip of these massive hands are like a vice for pretty much all of you, perhaps other than always angry. But they seem to be very good at their job and take you into the audience chamber of the Emir. And as you wait your turn, you see a number of other people waiting in line to speak to her or milling about in the antechambers, other nobles and wealthy merchants. And you notice one of the other members of your ship that you recently departed with, who actually told you she was on her way here. And she nods and smiles at you as you see Morella Sill, and she seems to be on her own business. And for some reason, Vidra, the Minotaur female that you guys encountered, she waves some sort of diplomatic immunity, and you hear something about an emissary of Cyprian, and they release her fairly promptly from that. And she says, "I'm gonna speak to your superiors about this," and gives them the Karen speech, and they seem moderately chased by that, although they grumble as they move out of her earshot about former dignitaries and traitors and whatnot. And standing off in the back of the room as you guys enter, you see a rather strange looking woman, a human, and she's in what look like very outdated, if elegant looking robes. And she just seems to be watching the proceedings, taking it all and not really engaging with anyone else. And she seems to ignore you as you come on in. Soon after, you are ushered into the chamber with all of the other rebel rousers who are captured in the Bay of Harush. And you stand before the Emir, who fixes you. She herself is a very powerful arcanist of some kind. She wields a clearly magical staff and sits at the throne, very much the regal ruler of the city. And she, of course, is a Minotaur. And for long minutes, she eyes you up and down, taking the measure of you. And finally, she, asks, "What is the meaning of this? What is going on? This city?" And of course, explanations erupt from the various mercenaries, from other people who are taken, possibly of being involved. And finally, she hushes all of them, and she looks over you, always angry, and points and says, you there, explain yourself. What are you doing here?
I say, oh, no. Talk to them, and I point to the rest of the party. I am with them. I was merely protecting myself.
You saw Miri. Miri tried to stop the fighting. Miri not hurt anyone. Miri throw vines. You saw the vines. That was Miri.
So you are adventurers, mercenaries, come to the city, working together, I can assume.
Right.
Yes.
We're here to deliver an important package to one of your citizens.
Speaking of which, does Always Angry still have the box on his back?
I mean, the guards can't get it off of his back, so they had to just leave it. It's very comical as they try to like rip it off. They try to put their foot against his his hip, try to pull it, and eventually 2 or 3 of them lift him off the ground trying to pull the box off, and it just won't budge. They're like, maybe we should cut it off. We don't want to damage this guy. We don't know if he's guilty. Well, we'll see. It can't be a big of a deal. He can't reach anything with it on his back. Okay, fine. Just let it go.
Yeah, please don't disturb the box. That's the personal property of the one that we're delivering it to.
All right. As you guys are, talking about this, Amir Telesha says, do you understand the charges that have been brought against you? All of you are in very serious trouble here.
What exactly are the charges?
The charges of causing a riot, of damaging personal property of some of our most affluent citizens, of disrupting trade, of violence, unprovoked. These are serious charges and they carry serious penalties. Do you want to work in the mines or clear out ruins for the next 20 years of your life?
Madam, there were 2 mercenary bands there on the docks that were fighting with each other. We were not involved in their dispute.
Of course. You had nothing to do with this. She looks over at the 2 mercenary brands, and you can see this razor sharp glare that she gives them, and they quail and don't say anything. She looks over you. And you aren't responsible for any of this?
No.
No. We tried to get the creatures that were broke out of their cages so that they wouldn't harm the crowd.
Really? Is that so? She turns to the other rebel rousers, and they kind of look, and a couple of them shake their heads. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they were doing that. And they in general agree with you. And after a few moments, she looks around. What do you say, madam? You see that same elegant-looking woman step forward, and she says, well, it seems rather clear, Madam Mimir. These poor folks were just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Or, from my perspective, the right place at the wrong time. They managed to save several pieces of my merchandise. And I believe they have something for me. And she bows and then looks at you. Tell me, why are you here?
As I said, we've come to make a delivery of an important package. This very box that's frozen to my companion's back.
All right, Alistair, go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage. All right. So she nods and then steps back and fades into the rest of the group who is watching these proceedings. And the Emir steps forward and says, very well. If you truly had nothing to do with this, I thank you for your service to our fine city. May you go in peace. And she turns away from you as she says that. I will deal with these other troublemakers.
I'm gonna try to get some good rapport with her by asking her if she is familiar with the. I know your great fondness for labyrinths. Are you familiar with the labyrinth in Bimia? That is, it's said that whoever finds their way to the center of the labyrinth can travel instantly to any location in Midgard.
I have heard of such things, yes. We do love ourselves a good labyrinth. In fact, we have two here in the city, both of which, if such things are to be believed, make their way to the Great Labyrinth, a plane of existence that connects all labyrinths. Although I have never personally tested that theory, it is. You can see her mind seems to wander away from the conversation, and she's lost in thought. I've always wanted to explore it further. And she kind of comes back to the present. But I have no time for such things. There's far too much going on here. But I thank you for what you have done for us here. Your actions, your bravery will not be forgotten. And if there's anything else that I can do for you, simply call on me at a later point in time, and I will see what I can do when I am available.
I'll bow to her and thank her and express my anticipation of exploring their great labyrinths here in this amazing city.
Thank you. And you may all depart in peace. And so, as you are ushered out by the guards, I'm sorry. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say, Honored Emir, might you point us in the direction of a Lady Azera?
She chuckles to herself and says, "You'll find her soon enough. Do not worry."
I'll bow respectfully at that. Just looking very confused.
The guards turn, and this time, rather than roughing you up and sending you out, they gesture and kind of give you a bow at the waist, and their arms gesture toward the open door so that you can depart, and then they close it behind you. And as the doors are closing, you can hear the tirade begin as the Emir just lights into both of these mercenary groups, and they receive quite the nasty, rough side of her tongue, and probably more. But that is what you hear as the stone doors fade.
I'll high five Alistair when we go outside the door.
Yeah,
Right,
I'll take it in good humor and then shake my hand.
Yeah, it's like, don't break his wrist,
Yeah,
man.
careful.
You hear a couple. You're like, "Ooh, that's not a good sound."
Nightshade shakes her head and looks at Nell and just says, "I almost had a pet dragon."
You hear a familiar woman's voice from behind you say, "That creature is not a pet, but I thank you for your kindness that you showed it." And you see that woman who had spoken out for you in the hall is now standing behind you, having very quietly somehow made her way out of the door with you without being noticed. And she bows deeply to you, and her elegant gold trimmed hood that she wears cascades down her shoulders. And she says, "It is my pleasure to finally meet you. I am Madam Azra. I believe you have something for me." And this is what she looks like. "I believe you have journeyed quite a long way to bring it here. I thank you for that. Is that?" She looks at the frost-covered box. I assume it's been damaged, if I'm not mistaken.
There was a mishap on the ship, and some void creatures tried to take the box, which definitely provokes my curiosity as to why such creatures would be after what's in this box.
Some questions are better unanswered. Perhaps not.
Well,
Nell will say, Madam Azra, the dragon that you said was not a pet, was it intelligent?
Oh, yes, indeed. Even as a child, as such creatures are, it is very intelligent.
Why was it caged?
Well, it is a long story, but I would be happy to regale you with the details if you'd like to meet me at my estate. I'm sure all of you would like somewhere to rest and perhaps get a hot meal and a warm bed.
Yes,
We can
please.
we can of course speak about this on the morrow. Why don't you find rooms for the evening and meet me at my tower? It is in the southwest of town, and she provides you directions.
Miri, Miri wants to go. Is it the evening?
Yeah, it's probably 3 or 4 in the afternoon at this point. So she gives you directions. You can see on the map that her tower is located right there. You guys are obviously way up here, so quite a distance. But she says if you would like, there are rooms in the strong boxes. You can probably find an inn to your liking there. If you're in need of more moderate, more meager accommodations, I can recommend some other places. But
Nightshade looks at Madam Azra and asks, "Do you know where I can find someone? I'm looking for some information."
she gets a rather wolfish grin and smiles at you and says, information, my dear, that is one of my many specialties. I would be happy to speak with you about whatever you're looking for once you've had a chance to rest.
Nightshade inclines her head. "My thanks."
She looks at Always Angry and says, young man, would you like me to carry that for you? It looks like you're a little stuck.
If you can get it off, be my guest.
She takes her slightly manicured, or very slightly grown out but very well manicured nails, and does a drawing motion across the back between you and the box, and it seems to cut through the ice, and it slowly begins to peel away. And she does something with her hands, kind of like a Rubik's cube, and eventually in like an accordion, eventually resizing the box from its full size back down, and then trying to adjusting it, and finally she condenses it down, you're not sure how, into a manageable size, probably maybe 6 inches by 6 inches, and then she pops it into one of the folds in one of her bags that she has with her. This is rather peculiar. I'm glad that Kalina sent this to me. I will find this quite an interesting puzzle. Perhaps you can help me with that when you've rested. But that's something for another day. Did any of you have any other further questions? I know it's been a long journey and you need your rest. But,
Miri's gonna get close to her and say, "The box. What will you do with it? The
well, I was hoping to study it for a moment, but then of course I had many questions for you about it. So I'm going to keep it in my tower for the moment, where it can be kept, we can be hidden safely. The Borean dragon that you and your party had asked about was part of the bargain to try to keep it safe. But that is neither here nor there.
This is good. We talk tomorrow."
Excellent, excellent. Well, was there anything else I can do for you before I return to my home?
Was there, I'm not asking her this, I'm just wanting to recall the arrangements for the delivery of the box. Was there any kind of payment to be expected or anything?
Not that you know.
So we're just doing it because we love Kalina?
And because of a god baby.
That's true. Anything Rose wants, is that's reward enough.
Yep. We're gonna go on a quest for a rattle.
Yep, as long as it's divine apple flavored with mushy baby food. But yeah, most of the assignments that you're given have monetary or some other reward at the end of them. They don't really say, oh, and if you do this, you'll get the X amount of gold. But in general, you are given a payment for whatever you guys do. So you would assume when you speak to her tomorrow, if she is, working with Kalina for some reason, which obviously she was the one you were supposed to give it to, you'd assume she's going to pay, or somebody else may stop at the inn or somehow deliver payment to you.
Okay. Well, as soon as we're free of her, then I would like to shop for a light crossbow after seeing my magic just slide off of those things with no effect.
Sure. Do you want to just wander around, or do you have any contacts? Perhaps reach out to Bulver to see if he could help you, or are you just going to search the city?
Well, the person that we were talking to said that the markets and stuff were in the strong boxes, right? Around where the inns and taverns and stuff are.
I believe they were just talking about accommodations.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if I can, if I'm still in contact with Bulver, I'll ask him for help.
Yeah, he back in his element, has gone to Teskamar's Plaza, where most of the merchants set up shop, and so he walks around and manages to get you a pretty good deal on a crossbow as thanks for saving his life. And he says, "Oh, this one's on me, friend. This one's on me. So you can have this one." He gets you the crossbow bolts out of his own personal pocket and says, "This doesn't make us even, of course, but it's a small token of my appreciation. Thank you for getting us out of there. Sorry that I might have been a bit of a little crab apple."
So the light crossbow is free?
It is.
Great. Thank you.
You're gonna want
Sorry
bolts, too.
sorry I was so critical of you earlier.
Well, long journeys make people, it wears them down. And what are you going to do? We're not always at our best. But now we're here, we're alive, we're hale and healthy and whole.
Did you
Make the
get
best of it.
bolts and a quiver for that too, Alistair?
Yes.
Did you get bolts and a quiver for that too?
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
You didn't ask him for that.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't ask him. I'm trying to.
He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I got to get going. I got a lot of work to do. All right. See ya."
Okay. Well, I
don't
guess
know what you're going to shoot out of that light crossbow. But
I guess
it's not
I
gonna be
will.
bolts.
I will try to get some bolts and a quiver.
Yeah, the merchants. Now that you know where the merchants plaza is, you can easily purchase whatever you need as as far as mundane equipment. All right. Anything else you guys want to do in town before you take your rest for the evening?
Drink heavily.
All right. Well, you guys can head over to one of the taverns. There are several in the strong boxes that you can drink and then head up to your room for the night. If you wander around long enough, you can definitely come across some of the other people that you saw off the ship. And they're happy to drink with you and we joke about the stories that at the time were not terribly funny, but now that all of you have survived and you're off the ship, it's hilarious. All right.
Maybe I'll join him for a drink.
How much do I have to pay for the bolts and quiver?
Just whatever the normal rate is for such items. All right, so I think that will be a good place for us to leave off as you make your way to Cindass and you can speak to Madam Azra the following day and find out what she knows and possibly get paid.
One more thing. One more thing.
Yeah.
If I may. We wrap up with Nightshade getting drunk and singing. Just for fun.
Nice. Yeah, you
Yes.
guys definitely can live it up now that you have regular food and you don't have to sleep on a bed that's rocking back and forth. Doesn't stink like seaweed and fish all the time.
Just for fun, I'm gonna do a performance roll just to see how bad
Yeah.
it is.
Go for it.
See how this goes. Anyway.
Yeah, you think you might want to take some levels in Drunken Monk, maybe? You're really good. And yeah, you end up with 10 extra gold from tips at the end of the evening. Yeah.
Who would have thought?
I'm
Some
okay.
serious pippin.
Yeah. So yeah, the entire tavern is, awash with euphoria. You guys have had a lot of practices, every night until the crew, jumped ship and probably died, of singing and dancing every night. And what do you know? Nightshade might actually be pretty good at it. And luckily, when people are intoxicated, they don't think all that well. And some of those people might have accidentally given you gold when they meant to give you copper or silver, but it's too late now.
My money?
Exactly. All right. Anything else you guys want to do before you are done for the evening?
No.
All
I
right.
will mention to Nightshade while we were drinking together that conspiring with her to say we're gonna get that dragon. We're gonna have a dragon friend.
Bring back. We are. We shall save the dragon. We shall have a dragon friend.
Yeah. On that note, you do see the captain of the Silver Siren, who is in the same tavern as you guys, and he says he's obviously, if you guys finish your business here in the next day or so, he will probably be leaving in a couple of days once he's loaded up some more cargo, found some more passengers, and then will continue on his way. So you do know that the dragon, he has it in his possession and isn't going to be leaving for a couple of days.
I'm looking at now. We need to plot Operation Dragon Liberation.
Me too.
All right. Well, and that is where we will leave off for tonight.
All right. Session 1 in the bag. Thanks, Primal. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It
Thanks,
was
everyone.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Way to go. This is super cool.
Loved it.
Yeah. Thanks
Yep.
so much for playing.
That was great.
I
Yeah,
will
thanks
see-
everybody. Looking forward to the next one.
Yep.
All right. Have a
And
great
that's
night.
going to be in 2 weeks.
Yes, that will be in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'll update Roll20 right now.
I can't believe I rolled a nat 20 on performance.
Yeah, it was a great finish for the night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right.